Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly is a profound narrative of self-love and resilience, guiding African Americans through systemic racism and internal violence. This album is a blueprint for building self-esteem, confronting pain, and finding hope. We'll explore this journey through four tracks: You, Alright, The Blacker the Berry, and I, each a distinct emotional stage. The order of these songs is deliberate, tracing Kendrick's evolution from despair to affirmation, a structured path that mirrors the steps needed to achieve self love in the face of oppression. First, the song You captures Kendrick at his lowest, overwhelmed by shame and self hatred. His stream of consciousness when he says, I place blame on you still, place shame on you still, reveals a mental breakdown where confidence crumbles. This line sets the stage for his emotional collapse, showing how deeply he internalizes perceived failures. Next, Kendrick's guilt intensifies over his sister's pregnancy at 13 years old. According to Genius.com, he blames himself for not guiding her, despite inspiring thousands, when he says, You preached in front of 100,000 but never reached her. While changing lives on tour, he feels like he neglected his family, a regret that fuels his self-hating and sense of failure. Next, despite being hailed as the king of the West Coast by Dr. Dre, Kendrick rejects his leadership role. As noted by Genius.com, he uses the Caesar in this line in order to express his self-doubt. External praise can shield him from his harsh self-judgment, highlighting his internal conflict. Next, we learn that alcoholism deepens his shame in Loving You, Not Loving You 100 Proof. According to Duffy'sRehab.com and Genius.com, 100 proof, which means 50% alcohol per volume, symbolizes his addiction. Kendrick feels trapped in self-destruction, ashamed of how drinking distances him from his values and loved ones, further eroding his self-worth. Next, his loss of confidence devastates his self-esteem, as seen in I Knew the Reason Why Mom and Them Leaving. Through enjambment, he accuses himself of faking love, calling himself irresponsible, selfish, and in denial. This constant self-criticism shows how insecurities explain his sense of worth, pushing him to question his familial bonds. Next, Kendrick's absence haunts him as he asks where was his support. These rhetorical questions reveal regret for leaving Compton while his brother struggles. He feels he traded family for fame, a choice that weighs heavily on his conscience and deepens his guilt. Later on, he blames himself for not visiting a dying brother, opting for the FaceTime instead of a hospital visit. This enjambment underscores his guilt for prioritizing career over family, a decision that feels unforgivable and intensifies his self-hatred. Next, by the outro, Kendrick's despair peaks with suicidal thoughts. If these mirrors could talk, it'll say you gotta go. Money can't stop a suicidal weakness. This admission reveals that wealth can't heal his depression, reflecting the depth of his struggle to find self-worth amidst personal and societal pressures. Next, Alright shifts to hope and resistance, the first step towards healing. Kendrick alludes to Jesus in Nazareth, which represents the sacred and leans on faith. In this passage that builds to the chorus, he used epistrophe by repeating, I fucked up, in order to highlight the fact that everybody did something wrong at some point in their lives, but they will be saved if they seek God, which could lead them to being able to love themselves again. Next, according to GraceFixer.com, the refrain is a symbol of resistance to oppression. With the repetition that they're going to be alright, he sends a message that they are not alright yet, but connects with the previous quote to send a message of hope that with God, they will be fine despite the violence. Next, he uses rhymes to highlight the fact that he recognizes the issues in his life, but knows that it's too late to change his fate. Therefore, he just accepts it. By that, he shows the importance of accepting our issues, not only addictions but also the discrimination towards you, in order not to get depressed. Next, reflecting on black people's struggle, Kendrick pauses on "Would you know we've been hurt, been down before." These pauses emphasize centuries of pain while calling for black pride, a vital component of self-love. Embracing cultural identity becomes a shield against systemic attempts to diminish black worth. Towards the end of the chorus, he uses the phrase, "and we hit the popo, wanna kill us dead in the street for sure." There, he uses redundancy with kill and dead, which mean the same thing, in order to highlight the outwards police violence towards black people. He also uses popo, which means police, as an onomatopoeia for gunshots. Next, the enjambment in "I'm at the preacher's door, my knees getting weak and my gun might blow" evokes a community praying for salvation. This imagery reflects the African American experience of enduring slavery and oppression, seeking divine intervention to rise above systemic violence. Next up, Kendrick writes to confess his sins, vowing to be right with God. This phrase, meaning moral alignment and closeness to God, reflects his pursuit of redemption through art and faith. Documenting his journey helps him find self acceptance, healing through spiritual and creative expression. Next, in the song "The Blacker the Berry," we can see that it's a self blaming crash out with anger and contradiction, addressing internal and external violence. The intro's "Burn Baby Burn" uses alliteration to evoke riots in the hood, setting a tone of chaos and rebellion against systemic injustice as Kendrick grapples with his role. Kendrick labels himself the biggest hypocrite of 2015, which shows that the song is actually a lyrical poem as he's reflecting inner conflict, according to Genius.com. He mourns victims of racist violence while acknowledging complicity in internal destruction, embodying the duality of fighting oppression while navigating personal contradictions. According to Creighton.com, with "I'm African, I'm black as the moon," Kendrick uses a simile to celebrate black culture. He compares the black culture's hidden beauty to the hidden side of the moon. Next, in this passage, Kendrick uses the rule of three in order to embrace traits associated with blackness. By claiming these features, he rejects stereotypes and affirms his ancestry, turning societal criticism into empowerment, pride, and self-love. In this passage, Kendrick ironically says that he wants them to recognize him as a proud monkey. That said, he transforms the racist slur into pride. He reclaims this term to assert his identity, showing how self-love can defy dehumanizing narratives and turn pain into strength, a bold act of empowerment. The epistrophe in this line by Assassin reinforces the link between blackness and slavery, and this repetition highlights how systemic oppression continues to shape black experiences, a truth that Kendrick confronts. Yet, Kendrick asserts, black and successful, this black man meant to be special. This Sejra emphasizes victory over oppression, showcasing how black excellence, like Kendrick's rise, defies systemic barriers and fosters pride and possibility. The outro's juxtaposition is a confrontation with the harsh truth. Kendrick contrasts mourning racist violence with his role in internal destruction, exposing the painful hypocrisy of fighting external oppression while contributing to community harm. Finally, "I" is the triumph. Kendrick declares, "I love myself," with conviction, overcoming depression and alcoholism. According to Medium.com, the refrain shows self-love can illuminate a dark world, enabling love for others. This culmination marks the peak of his healing journey. The intro, "Satan Wanna Put Me in a Bow Tie," uses rhyme to reference deaths caused by violence, which is created by the devil's influence and leads him to attend funerals. Kendrick prays for God's protection, seeking divine strength to navigate his environment's chaos. He faces betrayals, which is shown in this line. The wordplay "amigo" to "enemigo" highlights how friends can turn into enemies in the ghetto's harsh reality. Yet, Kendrick's resilience ensures that he won't be defeated. According to Genius.com, this part of the chorus allusions to the constant violence and protests in the ghetto. In this line, he uses this apostrophe to say that lack of confidence is proof of a lack of self-love and is therefore one of the main reasons why a lot of talents never get to shine, which he makes an example of himself. In this line, Kendrick challenges stereotypes of black neighborhoods. This anaphora lists media-driven propaganda and critiques narratives that paint black communities as inherently dangerous, fueling systematic prejudice. Despite adversity, Kendrick rises by saying that the sky could fall down, the wind could cry now, the strong in me, I still smile. This personification and hyperbole affirm his strong spirit, standing firm against the world's chaos and falsehoods that diminish black people's worth. According to Medium, the outro is a small metaphor for the literal exploitation of black Americans, who are represented by the butterfly as something beautiful and free. In this purpose, he uses an imagery to represent the freedom that one gets from loving themselves. He walks barely, which means that he is free through all the violence when he says down valley deep, and is as unstoppable as a giant when he, which is a reference to Jack and the Beanstalk. Kendrick ends the song by admitting his errors in I lost my head, I must misread what the good book said. In this anaphora, he reflects how misinterpreting faith fuels his guilt, but correcting his perspective frees him from the past, embracing self-love as his truth. Also, to end this video, let's talk about the order of this song. We can tell that the order of these songs, You, Alright, The Blacker the Berry, and I, is a deliberate arc, each track building on the last to chart Kendrick's emotional and spiritual growth. You is a survival mantra where he confronts his darkest thoughts. Alright offers a lifeline, introducing faith and resilience. The Blacker the Berry is the breakthrough, forcing Kendrick to face internal and external conflicts. And finally, I is the healing, where self-love triumphs. This progression mirrors the psychological journey from despair to empowerment, showing that self-love is a process requiring vulnerability, confrontation, and acceptation. To conclude, we can say that To Pimp a Butterfly is a testament to resilience. You is survival through shame, Alright sparks hope, The Blacker the Berry confronts truth, and I celebrates healing. This album is a call to love yourself fiercely, no matter the weight of oppression.